Hey everyone, welcome back to Money Manifesto. Today we're talking about something that separates the wealthy from everyone else. And it's not about how much money they make, it's about how they think about work. Rich people don't work 9 to 5. And I'm not just talking about celebrities or tech billionaires. I'm talking about regular people who built wealth. They think differently about their time and money. And today I'm going to show you exactly how they do it, and how you can start doing it too. Let's start with a question. Why do you work? Most people would say to pay bills, to put food on the table to survive. That's the poor mindset. That's the mindset of someone trading time for money. You wake up, you go to work, you get paid. You stop working, that's the hamster wheel. Rich people don't see work that way at all. For them, work is an investment. Work is something you do to build something bigger. Work is temporary. The goal is to get to a point where you don't have to work anymore, where your money works for you. Think about it this way. A poor person goes to a 9 to 5 job. They trade 8 hours of their day for a paycheck. That's it. No ownership, no equity, no passive income. They work, they get paid, they spend it, and they're back to square one next month. A rich person thinks about how that work can create something that generates income without their time. They're not just earning money. They're building assets. They're creating systems. The difference in mindset is huge. When a poor person gets a raise, they're excited. They think they can spend more money. When a rich person gets a raise, they think about how they can invest that extra money to create more income. It's two completely different ways of thinking about the exact same event. One person sees a raise as more spending power. The other person sees it as more investment power. Let me give you some real examples. A doctor works 9 to 5 at a hospital. He has a salary, benefits, everything looks good, but he's still trading time for money. He doesn't work, he doesn't get paid. Now take a doctor who builds a telemedicine app on the side. He still works at the hospital, but he's building something that generates income without his direct time. That's the difference. One is stuck in active income. The other is building towards passive income. Or look at a real estate agent. Most real estate agents work crazy hours. They're always on call. They're showing properties, dealing with paperwork, managing clients. It's exhausting, but some real estate agents get smart. They build a team. They hire other agents to work for them. Suddenly they're not trading their time anymore. They're earning commissions on other people's work. They've built a system, they've created leverage. This is what rich people understand that poor people don't. Rich people understand leverage. They understand that if you can leverage other people's time, other people's money, or systems and technology, you can create income that doesn't depend on your hours worked. A poor person thinks the only way to make more money is to work more hours. A rich person thinks about how to make money without working more hours. Let's talk about the 9 to 5 specifically. Why does it exist? The 9 to 5 came from the industrial age. When people worked in factories, you needed them there at specific times, doing specific tasks. 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of leisure. That was the split. It made sense for factories. It made sense for assembly lines. But we don't live in that world anymore. And yet most people are still stuck in the 9 to 5 mentality. Rich people rejected this a long time ago. They realized that working 9 to 5 caps your income at your hourly rate times the hours you work. There's a ceiling. You can only work so many hours even if you work 12 hours a day. You're still limited. But if you create a business, if you build a product, if you invest in assets, your income is not capped by your hours. A software engineer at a big tech company might make $150,000 a year working 9 to 5. But a software engineer who creates an app that thousands of people pay for can make millions without working those 9 to 5 hours anymore. This is why rich people talk about time freedom so much. It's not because they're lazy. It's because they understand that time is your most valuable asset. Once you spend an hour, you can never get it back. So trading your time for money is actually a terrible deal if you want to build real wealth. The goal should be to get to a point where you have enough passive income that you don't need to trade your time for money anymore. Now here's the thing. You don't start by not working. You start by working smart. Most rich people worked their butts off at some point, but they were working strategically. They were building something. They weren't just trading time for money. They were building equity. They were creating assets. They were investing in themselves and their future. Let me break down the typical path. Stage 1. You're trading time for money. You have a job. You need the income. This is fine. This is necessary for most people. But here's what separates people who break out of this stage and people who don't. The people who break out use this stage to build. They learn skills. They save money. They invest. They create side projects. They're not just coasting. They're using their job as a launch pad. Stage 2. You have multiple income streams. You still have your job, but you also have a side business or passive income coming in. Maybe you're doing freelance work. Maybe you have an online course. Maybe you have rental income. You're not dependent on one paycheck anymore. You're building, you're diversifying. This is where things get interesting because now you have options. Stage 3. Your passive income or side business is making enough that you can actually reduce your hours at your main job, or quit it completely. Now you're working because you want to, not because you have to. That's when you truly have freedom. That's when you're no longer a slave to the 9-to-5. But here's what most people do wrong. They get a job and they stay there. They don't build anything on the side. They don't invest. They don't create. They just work the 9-to-5 and wonder why they never get ahead. Rich people are obsessed with stage 2 and 3. They're always thinking about how to create more income streams, how to make money while they sleep, how to get their money working for them. This is the real difference in mindset. It's not about being greedy, it's about being smart with your time. Let me tell you something else. Rich people don't actually work less than poor people, at least not in the beginning. They work differently. They work on things that compound. They work on things that create leverage. They work on things that build value that they own. A poor person works on someone else's project for a paycheck. A rich person works on their own project that creates ongoing income. Here's another thing. Rich people are very selective about the time they invest. They're not just working long hours. They're working strategic hours on high-impact activities. They're not wasting time on busy work. They're focused on activities that create the most value. They delegate, they automate, they eliminate. They're very intentional with their time because they understand that time is finite. Now let's talk about how you can start this right now. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to have a ton of money. You can start building right where you are. First, understand that your job is not your career. Your job is your funding mechanism. It's how you're financing your real career, which is building wealth. Your real career is the businesses you create, the investments you make, the assets you build. Your job just pays for it. Second, start learning a skill that can be monetized. Learn to code, write, design, market, whatever. Pick something. Spend an hour a day learning. That's 7 hours a week. 50 weeks a year. That's skill development. In 6 months, you'll be competent. In a year, you'll be good. In 2 years, you'll be expert level. Third, start a side project. It doesn't have to be complicated. A blog, a YouTube channel, a small online business, freelance work, something that generates income independent of your time. Start small, make $500 a month, then $1,000, then $3,000, build it systematically. Fourth, invest your extra money. Don't spend raises, don't spend bonuses, invest, buy stocks, index funds, rental property, whatever aligns with your goals. Let that money compound. In 5 years, you'll have a significant asset base generating income. Fifth, track your progress obsessively. Know exactly how much passive income you're generating. Know your net worth. Know your goals. This is crucial because you need to see the progress. You need motivation to keep going. Here's the reality. Most people will read this and do nothing. They'll like the video, they'll comment, but they won't take action. That's why most people stay poor. It's not because they can't get rich, it's because they won't take action. Rich people take action, they start businesses, they invest, they build. They don't just watch videos about building wealth. They actually build it. The 9-to-5 is a trap. If you let it be a trap, if you use it as an excuse to not build anything, if you use it as a reason why you can't get rich, but if you use it as a launch pad, if you use it as a funding mechanism for your real wealth building activities, then it becomes a tool. So the question for you is simple. Are you going to be someone who works 9 to 5 their whole life trading time for money? Or are you going to be someone who uses their early years to build systems and assets so that you eventually don't have to work 9 to 5? The choice is yours. But I'm telling you right now, the sooner you start thinking like a rich person, the sooner you'll start becoming one. Stop trading time for money. Start building assets. Start creating systems. Start investing in your future. That's how you escape the 9 to 5. That's how you achieve real financial freedom. And that's exactly what we're about here at Money Manifesto. So if you found this valuable, please like and subscribe. Comment below with your biggest money mindset shift. And I'll see you in the next one. Money Manifesto out.